If you know Cupa Cupa Cupa, then I believe we are in good company because I am a huge fan of Steel Magnolias. I'm an even bigger fan of Miss Dolly Parton, who plays Truvy in Steel Magnolias. And of course, Truvy is the one that talks about the recipe Cupa Cupa Cupa. I have tried to make Cupa 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 over the years because it's a really simple recipe, right? 1 cup of flour, 1 cup of sugar, and 1 cup of fruit cocktail with the juice. So, I have never had luck with this recipe. I've seen people on YouTube and they seem to like it or seem to have luck with it. But when I've ever made it, it's turned out kind of gummy and really too sweet, and I just didn't like it. I've even tried to tweak the recipe over the years. I remember making it with, instead of flour one time, I made it with like a cup of Bisquick. That was probably the best that it ever turned out. But I thought, you know what? I love that movie so much, and it's been over 30 years that movie's been out. I think it's time to update Cupa 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 so that it can actually be delicious and I can eat it while watching Steel Magnolias, especially now that we've got so much time on our hands being self-quarantined. But, so, think of this as Cupa 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 2.0. We're still gonna have Cupa Cupa Cupa, but it's gonna be like Cupa 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 and then Cupa Cupa Cupa. It's gonna be like a cobbler. So, we cannot do this, obviously, without the canned fruit cocktail. Fruit cocktail has, pears, and what else does it have in here? Grapes, which is the weirdest part. And what else is in there? Peaches. There's some peaches in there. I don't think there's a cherry in there. Oh well. But anyways, there's the cup. Actually, you know what? It's more than a cup. I just used the whole can. I didn't really measure that. And most of the recipes that I've seen, they don't measure a cup of the fruit cocktail anyways. So just the can. I also, in my freezer, have a cup of mixed frozen berries. You can use fresh, of course, but because we're all self-quarantining and we've got little stockpiles of stuff, I have frozen fruit, and it's a mix of like raspberries and blackberries and blueberries. So I'm gonna add that to my bowl. And then I chopped up 1 apple, and I think that apple is probably gonna equal about a cup. So I got a cup of fruit cocktail, basically, a cup of frozen mixed berries. You can also use, if you just want to use frozen or fresh, just raspberries or just blueberries, go ahead and do it. And then a cup of fresh apple, and I really think the apple is going to lend something to this as far as when we're cooking it, because everything else will kind of break down, but I think the apple will give it some nice texture. So mix this up. I forgot to get my spoon, and I'm microphoned right now, so I can't reach my spoon. But yeah, so mix it up, and basically what the juice is going to be doing here is kind of like getting everything nice and sweet and broken down while we make the other part of our Cupa Cupa Cupa. So this part of the recipe, the topping for the cobbler, is actually a real Southern recipe that's used for Southern cobblers. So I don't feel like I'm straying too far from, a real recipe. So it's going to be a cup of flour, and then you guys, we are in real quarantine times because this is all the sugar that I have, and I did not stock up on sugar. Why would I? So I'm thinking, let's see. Okay, let's see how much sugar I have. I'm willing to supplement with a little brown sugar. Okay, so that's half a cup of sugar. And then, oh no, that's like, oh, not enough. If I wasn't making this for you guys and I didn't want it to really be Cupa Cupa Cupa, I would totally just use that much sugar, because to me, that already seems like a lot of sugar. However, I want this to be Cupa Cupa, so I'm willing to supplement a little bit of brown sugar in here just to kind of top it off. And brown sugar never hurts anything. The only thing I'm concerned about with supplementing brown sugar is that brown sugar is a little bit more moist. It may add a little too much moisturizer to this, than I originally wanted. But you know what? These are quarantine days, and this is what I got, so that's what I'm using. So a cup total, this was a half cup measure, a cup total of sugar. Okay, and then it's just gonna be a cup of milk. And I'm using almond milk here. So let's mix that around. Let's see that. I hope I don't want it to be too goopy. Let's see here. I might want to get out my whisk. Oh, the brown sugar does make it smell really nice. I've always been told not to worry about lumps in this kind of thing. They kind of cook out when it bakes. So I'm actually not going to worry about it. You know what? I take that back. I'm going to worry about it just a little bit. I'm going to get my whisk and do just like a quick whisk. There we go. There we go. That'll help break up some of that just a tad bit. And I am going to put just a pinch of salt into this. A little pinch of salt there. Okay, that should be plenty. All right, there we go. Okay, let's put this baby together. I have got a greased baking dish. And I originally thought maybe I would drain off some of this liquid in here, but I don't think I am anymore. It's not too much. And I think it'll probably just add to the flavor. So that goes into my vegan butter greased pan. There we go. Spread it out. And that actually, it's not looking too shabby, right? Okay. And then let me get my liquid, and we're gonna pour that over our topping. Just like that. And you know what I wanted to do? Dang it. I wanted to kind of dot it with butter, the fruit, but you know what? It's okay. We're experimenting here. I've never made this recipe, this Truvy's Cupa 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 2.0. So we're just going to go with the flow. Yum. Here it is. And as Truvy says in the movie, bake until golden bubbly. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. 350 degrees. I'm guessing this is going to take about 45 minutes, but I'll check it after 30 minutes. So while this bakes, I'm going to go wrap my hair in toilet paper like a good Southern woman does when she's getting her hair done. I feel like I could do an entire series on the food from Steel Magnolias. There's the groom's cake, red velvet groom's cake with gray icing. And of course, there's the red beans and rice from the Freezes Beautifully section of Annelle's cookbook. And of course, there's Cupa 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 from Truvy. 2 reasons that one's my favorite. Number 1, it's vegan. I mean, just sugar, flour, and fruit cocktail. And then, of course, it's from Truvy, one of my favorite characters in the movie, and definitely one of my favorite actresses of all time, Miss Dolly Parton. I've been watching a ton of old interviews with Dolly Parton from around the time when Steel Magnolias came out, and I didn't realize a couple things. 1, she went to beauty school to prepare for the role of Truvy, and 2, she actually cut Julia Roberts' hair in the movie in the scene where Shelby gets her hair cut off before she goes into surgery. I had no idea because I always thought, wow, that was a really bad wig in the movie. Anyways, my favorite interview is one from 1989 that she did with David Letterman, where she talked about the first day on the set with Shirley MacLaine. For those of you who don't know, Shirley MacLaine back in the 80s was kind of known for some interesting spiritual ideas. She particularly believed in reincarnation. But I guess on the first day, Dolly Parton walked right up to her and said, you know, I don't believe in that. She's more from the Christian side. And she let Shirley MacLaine know right off the gate that she did not believe in reincarnation. So what an amazing first day on the set that must have been for Steel Magnolias. So I said I was going to check it after 30 minutes, and I did. And then I put it in for another 30. So yes, an hour total. Now I think I'm gonna have to wait a good 15 to 20 before it cools down enough where I can taste Miss Truvy's vegan Cupa 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 2.0. There she is, and just like Miss Truvy suggested, I am serving it with ice cream to cut the sweetness. Soy ice cream, of course. Okay, let's dig in, let's try this. I'll get a little bit of the ice cream. Okay. So, I can definitely tell the difference between the canned fruit and the other fruit, especially the apple. Really glad that apple is in there to give some texture. So as for the topping, which is a traditional topping for Southern cobbler, a cup of milk, a cup of flour, and a cup of sugar, definitely do not use brown sugar if you can. Avoid it. I think the brown sugar may have, just like I thought, provided a little too much moisture, and that makes it a little too kind of, I don't know, it's not gummy, but it's not the way I wanted it. I wanted it to be more like a pastry. But either way, it's still delicious, and I definitely suggest it with the ice cream. The ice cream, I don't know if it cuts the sweetness, but it definitely adds to the flavor. All right, everybody. On a very serious note, not a serious, super serious note, but Steel Magnolias was filmed in Louisiana. And obviously right now during the coronavirus, Louisiana is kind of, some of the cities in Louisiana are a little bit of a hot spot. I live in the Washington, D.C. area. We're kind of popping right now. It's a pretty scary time around here. So my heart goes out to everyone who's dealing with the coronavirus right now. I hope that everyone is staying home. I hope that everyone is staying safe. And I really hope that everyone is using YouTube as a little bit of an escape during all this craziness. So with that said, I know you got time. Go watch Steel Magnolias. And here's to Truvy's Cupa 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 2.0.